This is the day we've been looking for, guys. We're going to move our hump, the big ugly hump in our front yard. We've got a bunch of small equipment. We're going to try to make this move. Brian, Rex, Tom, Randall, me, and Christy behind the camera. We're going to make it happen. Let's get started.
Let's go move a mountain.
Good look at the team of tractors and drivers here. Brian on the 2038R, Randall's on the 3320 cab, Tim's on the 3046R, and Rex is on the LX3310. My brother Tom's on the 5E with disc.
Give her a try, Tom. See if you can get your disc set.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about doing. I was just trying to get out of the way of all the bees.
In the prior episode, we tilled with the 1025R to chop up some of that sod. You can see the result of that here in the lower part of the screen. At the early stages here, we're still trying to develop our plan of attack. Obviously, there's been a good bit of planning ahead, but we really don't know how this is going to work, so we've got to just experiment and see what happens. The general guideline is to start moving dirt from the hump toward the soybeans on the left there and toward the road, which would be at the bottom of the screen.
What do you guys think?
I think we got a long way to go.
Feel like I've dragged a lot of dirt and haven't done anything.
Is that all the way down, Dad?
I think so.
There's
guess it's
adjustment,
kinda-
of course, in the disc itself,
Yeah,
Tom.
I think all I
just-
was trying to do was level it, and it looks like you've got to set the cylinders all the way down.
Oh, the cylinder's all the way contracted?
Yeah.
Rex may have to fix my humps over here. I'm just getting the dirt down the hill. I'm not a finishing box plater man. I'm kind of leaving it rough.
Well, the bad news is there's a lot of hump left. The good news is we've only been working about 12 minutes.
With this swarm, it won't take long.
We may be able to keep up with you, Tom.
I think the dirt's really working great.
I do too. The tiller does a great job of, busting it up. I hope the disc ground works as good.
May need the tiller on this instead of this.
I'm just afraid it would go way too slowly.
Slow enough the way it is, I think. We're keeping up with you, Dad.
Well, but you're dragging it. I don't think you really. I'm not sure how much I'm helping.
You're helping a lot.
You're helping a lot. Yeah.
Just over 3 minutes in, and I'm wondering how many folks have already commented, "Just get a dozer! Just get a dozer!" We did a little bit of research on this just for the fun of it. It looks like it's going to be somewhere around $1,500, maybe a little bit more, to rent an 80 horsepower dozer for a day. That would include delivery, but of course it would not include fuel.
This intercom system we're using is from Steel. It's called the ProCom. It's unbelievably quiet, except when we talk, and then it's loud and clear. We're able to hear each other fine. As you can tell, we've got the hard hat version. They make another version with just a headband, so you can wear it over a regular hat if you want. This is proving comfortable. We think it may get hot this afternoon, but we'll see how that goes.
All 5 of us have the Steel ProCom units, but only 3 have microphones for our recording system, so you're not going to hear from Rex or Brian, unfortunately.
I'm finding that not having weights, it may be working pretty good because I'm able to just drag right across this grass without cutting in. Rex has already pulled a noticeable amount off of that hill. I guess Randall's working there too, yeah.
We view this as an interesting challenge, a great opportunity for family and friends to get together. It's also a good opportunity just to show the different equipment that we have and see how it all works and see if it can all work together to do something, well, too big for what it's supposed to be able to do. Brian and Rex are both retired from their regular work, and they both thought it was a fascinating endeavor, and I think they're enjoying it. Tom and Randall probably didn't have time to come visit, but you know how it is. Sometimes you have to have a recreational day. Trying to figure out the best way to do this, I found I could drag right across that grass without any issues, so I decided I would take some of this dirt to its furthest destination first, maybe, and work my way backwards. Meanwhile, it seems like Randall and Rex with their 3-point box blades are working differently. We're all just trying to figure out the optimal use of our machines.
I don't really know that you guys need to be dragging quite that far. You get a bucket full pretty quick, don't you?
This one really cuts and fills quick. I guess the top link's okay if it's doing that. It'll about stop the tractor when it's really...
Rex, if you see Randall's blade needs adjustment, help him out because he's never used a box blade before. I know you got years of experience with it.
Yeah, sorry we didn't have Rex or Brian recorded. The 3-point hitch box blades and the disc all came from Toughline. It's a manufacturer in the southeast, MonroeToughline.com. The pull-type box blades came from C5 Manufacturing, c5mfg.com/scrapers. They manufacture under 2 or 3 brand names. Sometimes you'll see them as Brown. This one's called a flat-out dirt scraper. It's a great name because the pull-type approach is really good at leveling. It's later in the morning now. You're able to see that there's been some progress. I kind of regret that we didn't leave an area right in the middle, say with a flag on it, to show the original height. Without that, it's really hard to see how much we've taken off of the hump. Having said that, it would have been difficult to work around, so this was much easier.
5 of us out here all at the same time. I don't think we've hit each other yet.
And everything's a moving.
I actually wish my blade was either a little wider or a little deeper. I could pull a little bit more with this tractor. This tractor's quite powerful.
That 3046 got a lot of weight on it, too.
Yeah, this big. It's got rim guard in the tires.
Actually, all of the tractors have rim guard in the rear tires, with the exception of the 3320 with cab. I'm a big fan of rim guard. It makes these tractors a lot more capable.
I didn't know we was racing. I thought we were just making circles together. I think I can cut better than you in the hard ground, though.
Probably so. The angle of your blade, and then you might have a little heavier blade.
Boy, it's a cutting fool if he don't kill it.
Yeah. When I come off the edge of the hump, it'll really cut in.
It really did.
You come off the end of the hump, that's the whole point of the 3-point, right? It really jams it in. All these machines seem to be working pretty well, though.
The paint wore off of this blade, Tim.
Oh my goodness, it's wore out.
At least off the corners of them.
You like the blades. I think they help it cut.
Oh yeah, they help her cut.
And if you notice, there's different blade spacings.
Right. I wish the games were just a little closer together in the back.
It's 9 inches between the blades on the front and 7.5 inches on the rear. A wider blade spacing allows the disc to cut a little better, and a narrower spacing leaves a little bit smoother result.
Yeah, you're really digging there. See, my blade won't roll like that, Randall. I've got a big flat bar above it.
Yeah.
So as soon as it gets full up to that bar, it stops rolling. The horizontal bar on the top, yours goes backwards, away out of it. Mine comes forwards to prevent the rolling.
I know this one will cut. I can get a big enough load in here and it's a load for the tractor.
Yeah. You need a few more horses. Always have. I've always thought that tractor needed just a little more horsepower.
This is a 3320. They had a 35 and a 3720. It corresponds to the 3033R, 3039R, and 3046R. I think this is a 2008-2009 model. They made them from 2005 to about 2013. It's a 5-foot box blade, and Randall says it's all the tractor needs. This pull-type blade behind the 3046R is a 6-footer, and the one behind the 2038R is a 5-footer.
Boy, it's rolling it out of there, Randall. I like watching that.
It does a good job.
In the middle of all this, a delivery truck came, so I had to take a break and unload a pallet. That's right, some super cool supplies for an episode probably next year. We have a lot more
To move, we haven't figured out where to put it yet. So we're gonna work with this a little bit more. If we could get this roughly level from south to north, say between me and Brian on the 2038R, that would be our desire. We've worked about, I would say, 6 hours on this, and that didn't even include a break to get to where we are. So yeah, a lot of you are probably saying just use a bulldozer, it'll be an hour. I don't know. You know, of course, there's a lot of us. We get to all my friends and a few other people here.
Heavy on the other people.
You might have noticed Christy's got Vinny out there with the power rake now, and beginning to smooth it down a little bit so we can see a little better what we've got as a final grade. There's also a lot of medium-sized rocks in this, and the power rake does a wonderful job of getting those separated. I think you'll see her take some of those over to the corner right here. It's still too steep here on the south side. You can see the 3046R going uphill there. The challenge is to figure out where to put this extra dirt. This really was a huge hump, and we've chopped several feet off of it today here, but there's still a lot of it left. This is a pretty unique view. How many times do you see 6 machines like this working together on the same project? We gave serious consideration to inviting a bunch of you viewers to help us on this project. We know it would have been an extraordinarily fun time. We just had several logistical issues that we couldn't figure out how to solve, and, well, we gave it up. You'll also notice that our 1 Series tractors, the 1025R and Johnny X, the 1038X, have not made an appearance yet. While we wanted to use compact tractors, we felt like it made perfect sense to use the biggest machines we have for this dirt removal. You'll see those tractors in the next episode. There's a culvert that brings water across the road onto our property right toward the 3046R there. By law, we have to accept that water, so that water comes out and makes a horseshoe shape around the bottom of the hump there. For this stage of the project, we will try to leave that alone. But we have decided to move some soil toward the left of the screen here onto the other side of that little swale or low spot. And at some point this fall, we'll try to get that slope drained perfectly so we can get all that water off our property as soon as possible.
Uncle Tim, make your circle on down here a little farther this time and look across that.
It's got further to go, doesn't it?
I'm afraid it'll still hold water the way it is. We need a little more, don't we?
Yeah, it'll hold water right here a little bit, I think. You're pretty close to this. I mean, it's still sloped toward the road a little, but I don't know.
You would rather this out here be lower? You'd rather it slope away from the road?
I don't like that hill there. That's what I don't like, right? That steep hill. I'm not concerned as much about which direction it's sloped out here as I am that steep hill. So the interesting thing we're seeing, which we kind of expected, is some topsoil down in this lower layer. I kind of assumed that when the pond was dug, the guy started taking the topsoil and just put it on the bottom. So I think that's what we're seeing. Our topsoil here is quite unique. At least I think it's unique. It's very, very dark soil for one, but it's got I believe Tom called it a blocky structure. Is that what you called it, Tom?
That's what it's called, is a blocky structure. Yeah.
And so it breaks up, as you work it more, it breaks up into smaller and smaller geometric little blocky shapes. It's kind of fascinating. I've shown you in the garden how it doesn't work very well in prior episodes. It only works when it's really dry like it is now. If it's the least bit muddy, it gums up and it's just difficult. But it's kind of odd to say we're getting down to the topsoil, and that's really what's going on here, I think.
After several hours on the little Kubota, Rex's back began to bother him and he had to go home.
Tom's switching to the Kubota.
Yeah, Tom wanted to give it a try. He didn't have much experience with Kubota, so this was a good opportunity. The LX3310 is the smallest machine by weight that we have on the box blades today. Now with the rim guard, it has plenty of weight. We don't have issues with wheel slippage pulling the box blade, but it is noticeably weaker, or less pulling power, you might say, than the other machines we have here on the job. Again, these other machines are larger machines, so it's not necessarily an indictment against the tractor. It's just enough to be noticeable in this project. I'm going to try to do a more objective pulling test in the future, comparing this with some of my other machines.
You'll have to give it all the throttle you got. Yeah, I'm giving it all she's got, Cap. Is he leaving it nice and smooth, Randall?
He's doing a pretty good job for not being in it all day.
He's just dumping it. Oh, man, where's that biscuit go?
No wonder Rex's back quit him.
Yeah, ain't no doubt.
Yeah, you're getting it filled up, Tom. Mostly cool.
You want to try this one a couple of rounds, Dad, since you've been on that one?
Nah, I'm going over here and get the disc.
Okay, well bring it over here and let me drive it a couple rounds.
Oh, okay. It's a go-getter, buddy. I can tell you that disc in this actually, I can see why it matters.
Well, that's going to do it for today, folks. We've worked from 8 a.m. till about 6 p.m. It's probably about time I buy these folks a good dinner. Then, of course, we'll need to get everything fueled up, and yeah, there were a few items we have to repair. We'll get those fixed, and we'll be ready to go for another day. We've moved a lot of dirt here today. We'll be using some different tools tomorrow, so come back and join us. And thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. On that day, his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem, and the Mount of Olives will be split in two from east to west, forming a great valley with half of the mountain moving north and half moving south. Uh-oh. Who's that in our driveway?
For a moment there, I thought we had.